Okay guys, here is that pot that I spray painted with the stone spray paint that I told you I would show you how it turned out. This is how it looks. I love it. This, I didn't obviously spray paint the inside because it's gonna have dirt in it. But it was white. This was a white pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill it.
What I'm gonna do first when planting in making my own, you've seen those beautiful baskets at Home Depot or nurseries. You go in and they're pre-planted and they've got all these mixed flowers together. They're beautiful and they have a beautiful hefty price on them. Well, you can do that at home by yourself. So what I've got here is a mixture of dirts. What I use is my regular garden soil and I mix it with compost, and I have chicken, so I do have chicken manure in my compost. So I mix those together and that's the soil that I use, and I do mix in a little potting soil as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is experiment with my plants and see what I want where. This is over in my hot tub area, which I will be showing you later in another video when it's done. I don't want you to see it now, it's a mess. But like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is kind of experiment and see what I want where. I think with this fern, it's a pretty good size fern, so I want it to be right in the center. And I could very well just decide to have that in its own separate pot because it is beautiful all by itself. And I might do that. Taking this guy, this is a Dracaena plant, and I've taken it out of its pot and roughed up the bottom. And that's the first thing that you want to do when you're planting. That way everything is already loosened up. If it's root bound, it loosens everything up and gives it a good chance to start spreading out in the soil. And I actually like how this looks better, so I'm gonna go ahead, and I don't need to create much of one, but I'm gonna go ahead and make just a little bit of a dip in the center here. And I'm gonna want a front and a back. Always look at your plant and decide if you want a front and a back to it, because some plants look better on different sides. So this is gonna be my front right here. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start grabbing some of the plants that I've gotten at nurseries and decide what looks best where and what would look best together. The only thing that you're wanna keep in mind is the light, what the plant's needs are. You're going to want to stay with their needs. These particular plants that I've chosen have similar needs, so I'm going to stick with that. So I'm just going to place them around where I think they would look best, and then start planting similar plants. And even though this plant is not root bound, I'm just going to rough up the bottom just a little bit so it's got a nice base to start and a good chance at spreading out. Now I like the color of this one, and with this type of plant I'm just going to just pull it apart. This one breaks off real easy at the bottom. I'm not going to break off any roots. You can do that. It will not kill the plant, but I'm not going to do that on this one. I'm just going to set it in there just like that. And I'm going to pull out some of these darker colored begonias and put a couple of those in there because I want to pick up on this dark. I like the dark in the coleus, and I want to mirror that on this side, and then probably right next to this as well. I think I'm going to put this asparagus fern in here, and this is actually it's going to cascade a bit when it starts growing up. So it's going to actually carry over and hang down. And I can actually place it to where it's kind of leaning out towards the edge like that. I'm also going to pull out a couple of brightly colored impatiens, and as you can see, I'm just going to pop that bottom right off. I'll just drop it inside the plant there, and actually I'm going to put this right over here just for a little splash of color on that side. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, pop that bottom right off, and have a little splash of color. And let's see what I'm doing there. So I'm actually going to lean it out towards the edge, because as it grows, it is going to hang over just a bit. So again, as you can see, the bottom is pretty root bound, so I'm just going to pop it off completely. And I'm going to put it right there. And I think I'm going to call that good, because these plants are going to fill in. And at this point, I'm just going to fill it in with dirt. So all those roots are covered all the way around. And everything is under the covering of the dirt. And I'm going to lift up on the sides and make sure that it's literally all the way around. And make sure there's no air pockets where my plants might be struggling, because that will definitely make your plants struggle. Making sure in all areas that everything is covered and filled in real nice. So it's so filled in now that I can't easily see in there. So you're really gonna have to go off, and I just bought myself some garden gloves, and you think I'd use them, right? But I like to be able to feel that everything is filled in, and all of the tags that you've popped out of there, it's never a bad idea to just stick them in there. They don't have to be right next to the plant that you put them, to the plant that they go to, as long as they're in there and they can remind you of that plant's needs. So at this point, all I would have to do is just water this, and I will definitely keep you posted on what this plant looks like when it's all full and has filled in, which will only be a short, maybe 2 weeks. So let's move on to the next one. So as you can see, my next pot is ready to go, and all I have to do is choose my plants. I'm going to use these coleus plants and mix them with a variety of different ferns. Now this one is the ghost fern, if you remember it in one of my haul videos. It's got like a silvery color. I think that is going to look gorgeous with this. It actually looks like it's facing a direction, so I'm going to put it on its side and direct it where I want it to go. Also going to pop in a couple of these begonias. And of course I pull off that bottom to give it a nice good start. And I'm going to add another fern. This is the lemon button fern, and I just really love how that looks. So again, as always, I always pull the bottom pieces out, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my maidenhair fern as well. I love the idea of having a mixture of ferns together and really seeing that contrast between them. I'm going to add some more coleus plants around so it can really, the coleus plant is really going to be the showstopper in here. And I gotta add at least one of my darker colored begonias because I love that color. So again, I'm just going to start filling in everything with my dirt. And this is going to be beautiful when it really starts filling in, which won't take long at all. A few of the plants that I've just planted maybe a week ago are filling in already. So I will definitely keep you guys posted on how these look once they start filling in, so you got a really good idea of how fast it is and really what looks good together even. If this is a combination that you like. So I'm just gonna press the dirt around everything, making sure there's no air pockets where I've missed filling in with dirt. So there we go.